Welcome back to another episode of the Cyber Queens podcast. We are, of course, your hosts and Cyber Queens. I am Maril Vernon, resident offensive and ethical hacking expert.
And I am Erika Eakins, a very technical sales rep in the cyber field.
And I'm Nathalie Baker, blue team extraordinaire.
We did it. We finally got her to say it. So proud of us.
Thank you. So
wonderful. Okay. In this episode, we are discussing alternate bachelor programs into cyber, which means, getting a 4-year degree in computer science or something affiliated with tech is not the only way to get yourself an accolade to break into this field. There are a number of different avenues out there available to you nowadays. There are bootcamp programs, there are open source learning programs, pace at yourself programs, GIAC ordained programs. So we are here to tell you all about those and how we leveraged any, all, or none of them in our own journeys, and answer any questions you may have about them in the comments after. So what did you guys bring to the table when you entered cyber? What did you have under your belt?
I had an associate's degree. That's it. I still only have an associate's degree and a couple certifications. That's it.
What was your degree in, your associate's degree?
It was computer technology and network security. So
okay.
It had a bit of security relation to it. I've specifically looked for having that security pool into my degree title, but that's literally all I had went and took a couple certifications after that, and that's it. That's all I got. That's all I had. And I came in without even any security certifications. That's the most mind-blowing portion, is like I went and got my A+ and my Net+, and that was all I had.
Yeah, see, if it's like, what do you need to get into cyber? I'm like, I don't know. You had a Net+ and an A+, and you did it. I had nothing but a Sec+, and I did it. Some people have none of that or all of that or more of that. It doesn't matter. There's no one path in. What about you, Erika?
So since I came in on the sales side, I was already working on my MBA when I came into the field. Initially, I wanted to go into human resources, and then I realized that I wasn't going to make any money in that field. So I got my bachelor's in business management, my MBA, and then I went and got my master's in human resources management. But I have learned everything over the years. Everything that I know today is what I learned from my customers, colleagues, whatever. And being a salesperson, I became technical. Now, I will tell you that I am going to go and get some CompTIA certifications, which we'll talk about. But if I wanted to cross over to the technical side, I don't think I'd need it because I already have the experience.
Yeah, and a lot of it's just being able to relate the business. I always forget that relating the business to the technical is a skill set in itself, and it's a highly sought after skill set because you're the ones that's going to be able to talk an executive into doing what's necessary.
That was literally how I got in. I literally got in on no tech certifications at all. I got in on throwing the fact that I had been awarded a position in the cyber unit in the Nevada National Guard on LinkedIn. And that's how I got, scouted for the first position I had. But when I got that position, I brought no technical certifications, no technical degrees. I actually got a degree in French and Russian, which don't serve me at all now. And I was like, listen, I have a high academic aptitude and I'm really good at taking highly technical things because I'm used to living and growing up with my dad and explaining them to normal people and making them understand. So, you already know that if you let me learn, I will be able to learn it. And you know that I can speak about it and be that go-between. They were like, perfect. You're the face person for the department because we all hate talking about our work. You do it. And I'm like, okay, great. I'll do it. So even now as an offensive person, a lot of operators just want to like pwn things really, really good and mess them up really good and hack them. And then they're like, here's all the findings and how we did it. Have fun. And it's like, you need to relate that to the business stakeholders, to the layman, and make them understand the impact of what you've done, or they're not going to give you any buy-in to expand your budget and scale your operation. So a lot of operators don't even know how to do that very well.
Well, and what I was going to add to that was, as I said, I'm a salesperson. I was reading the Firewall for Dummies books, the Malware for Dummies books. And then obviously I worked with network security. That was the beginning of my career in cyber. And I learned from my SEs. Being a salesperson, I said, show me this product and explain it to me like I am 9 years old. And that's how I learned. And then I got gear in my house because I worked for firewall vendors and I played with the stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazingly fun.
That is
I
an
loved it.
initiative that not a lot of salespeople have. A lot of people don't even know like
No.
what their SC stands for. They're like, I know he's my SC. They don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
Some of them don't even have SEs.
no.
No,
Well,
a lot of them don't.
I could technically be the salesperson and the SE. You know, working in the cloud space now, it's a little bit different because I'm still learning that. But I was a network security sales specialist for a very long time, and my products were Firewall, CASB, SD-WAN, and DLP. And I was the specialist, aka overlay, for the field reps, and I covered a huge territory. So people looked at me, they're like, "You're a salesperson." I'm like, just listen.
Just wait. See, that's why Nathalie and I are trying to tell you. That's why we're trying to tell you. You're highly technical. You're a very technical lady.
Yeah,
but
I guess
it's true. So anyway, the certification debate is one that is very hot in our industry right now. Everyone's like, why do I need all these certifications? Or someone has certifications that don't even relate to the job that they're hired for. And everyone's like, you went through a cert program, but you can't even do certain skills. So like, what is the value they serve? What is the value of the skills and experience that you have bring? And what kind of magical combination of the two do you need to like demonstrate you can handle a job in cyber? And sadly, the crappy answer is there is none. There is no magical formula. There's no gold standard. It is so unique to every person that is why I advocate using your own platform to demonstrate your skills, ability, and knowledge, and making those opportunities come to you as you're a good fit for somebody. Like, you could have two completely differently trained perfect fits for the same position.
Yeah,
is how
and
it is.
everybody brings a different perspective to the table. That's really like when I'm hiring, that's what I'm looking for is what is your thought process? How do you think? Because I can easily teach you the technical. That's not a hard thing to learn or to teach to somebody if you know what you're talking about. If you don't know what you're talking about, it's going to become a lot harder. But I've hired a lot of people in from just like regular boot camps, cyber boot camps out there that they've went through the boot camp, they're acquiring the knowledge, and they know more than I do about certain topics. And I'm like, yes, that's awesome. Like, I had all these years of experience in sysadmin, but I literally don't know half of the things that you know. So teach me some things, and I learn from them.
Yeah. All right. So let's really quickly do a roundtable, refresh everybody on what exactly you had when you got in and how you used it. And then we can do a little wrap up with what we have now. Nathalie, you go first.
Oh, okay. So I came in as a paralegal. I kind of like moved into the cybersecurity field after getting my degree. I got an associate's degree. I went, got my A+, my Net+, my CCNA. And as I was coming into the field and I was a sysadmin, I specialized in automation. And that's all I had. I knew how to code. I knew how to write code. I knew how to script. And I knew how to think technically. And I always, whenever I was in a position, I would always tie it to the security aspect.
Brilliant. And now what are all the things you have on top of that?
Not much more. Like, I got my I got the full CCNA. Like, I only had before I came into Apple, like before I joined my company, I didn't quite have my CCNA yet. I was working on the CCENT. So then I finished out my CCNA. I got an Alien Vault certification because that was required for our SIM, but that was about it.
Awesome. Yeah. So when I came in, I had 2 degrees. I had an associate's and a bachelor's, and they were both in foreign language, French and Russian. And I got in on absolutely nothing. But within 3 months, I had a SEC Plus. I used that SEC Plus to propel myself into pen testing, not pen testing certifications, the SEC Plus. And I didn't get my first pen testing certification until this year, back in April or May. As part of my curriculum at WGU. So I a year into this field, enrolled into a Master's of Cybersecurity and Information Assurance program through WGU. I did that because it was a way to get 2 industry certs federally funded. You walk away from that program with 2 certifications, an incident handler certification, which is incident response, and then certified ethical hacker, which I obviously need. So, and you get a master's out of it on top of that. So I found a way to federally FAFSA fund 2 cyber certs. And at the time I was broke. I was a single mom. I was only making like $70,000 a year. So I couldn't afford anything. that propelled me. My Sec Plus propelled me all the way up until just this year. I'm now in my 3rd year in cyber, and it was kind of a nuance now. Like, no one doubts that I can pen test, but I have the certification now. But it's just, I'm one of those examples that you don't necessarily need the certifications to demonstrate your skills. You can still move up. I moved out of pen testing into higher echelons of proper red teaming and like in that trade craft. And I did all that without a pen testing certification. So it's kind of like, you've been a project manager for 20 years and you went and got a PMP because someone basically made you do it. That was kind of what I did. But the master's is helpful. The master's is one of the things that tells a lot of HR recruiters that, like, I went through a curriculum that very well prepared me for the regulatory and compliance and also the high level management overview side of this industry. So, but I blew through it in 6 months. So, I mean, I don't even think it was that value added. Again, that was a box that I checked to look better on my resume. I really floated most of my career on nothing but a Sec Plus. Very unique. There are a lot of G-Pens and G-Secs out there who can't get a job pen testing, and my heart goes out to you. It just goes back and speaks to like the hack the process, hack the hiring and application and interview process, and you can get here on literally nothing. Your turn.
So coming into the industry in sales, I was already working on my MBA when I came into the industry way back when in 2011. In the beginning, it was just my MBA. And as a salesperson, I wanted to learn. So I would go with my sales engineers, with pre-sales engineers and my technical people and sit with them and have them teach me things. Like I said, teach me like I'm a child, like I'm a 9-year-old. And I was reading books and I played with hardware and all that stuff. So 5 years into my sales career, I work at a vendor. I was already on the vendor side because I worked on what is called the reseller side, which is who sells to the end user. I was already on the vendor side, and a company found me and they said, "We really like your background. We think that you could be a network security sales specialist." And I'm like, "What is that?" So basically what that is it's an overlay, but they're a subject matter expert, but you're a technical salesperson. So in our world, you could technically be considered a pre-sales engineer. So the field sales would bring me in and they would, identify, the products that I sold, which was DLP, CASB, SD-WAN, and firewalls. They would start the deal. I would come in and be that technical closer, but there was still always an SE. We really didn't need them. And I learned that just from being in the industry. So now fast forward to 2022, I am actually going to go and get like my Net Plus, my Sec Plus, just because I want to have those. And I'm going to do the ethical hacking and pen testing because that just is amazing to me. And I actually probably don't even need to do it. But if I ever decided to go that route, I know they're going to want to see it.
Yeah.
So business degrees. That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Business degrees.
You'd be surprised how many times I've been asked for any kind of certification proof in my interviews, which has been never like, and I've gotten some pretty good jobs just not having certifications, because here's the thing, why should I have to go take a test to prove my skills to you when I prove them every day at work?
Well, and here's what's funny. I had at one of my previous companies, we were at one of the SE director's houses because he had like a really big house, and he was like, I was a network security sales specialist. He was making fun of me. He's like, "Oh, you're just sales," and I said, "Okay, watch this." I hacked into his Wi-Fi, easy. And he's like, "What?" And this is the director of the pre-sales engineers, very technical. I said, "You want to say that to me again?" Okay. And I learned all that. It just didn't come to me. Like I just play with stuff because I'm interested. Some people are not like that, but for me, I learn as I do. And I just hacked into his Wi-Fi.
Love that for you. Excellent. Absolutely.
I'd be like, I need agreements in place first. Like, let me do this.
I need
legally.
you to email me a letter giving me authorization to hack your home. No, okay.
Yes, he was challenging me. He did say that I couldn't hack into it, and I said, "Watch this." So I should have just added that in. I didn't illegally hack him, so he challenged me.
Good.
So it just goes to show you whether or not you have the degrees, whether or not you have the certs, whether or not you've been through the boot camps, there are ways to demonstrate your job. Now, I would say we were each given a chance to demonstrate our ability to handle the job, like to learn the job. And then we get to, like Nathalie said, we get to demonstrate our ability to stick around in this industry and maintain our level of expertise because we do it every day. At this point, I don't have to go get an OSCP for someone to know I'm good at hacking. And I don't think that serves me anyway, because I know that an OSCP is largely network, pivot, and C2 styles of hacking, when like I'm really good at web app and cloud hacking. So to me, like that might be a reinforcer for my industry. It's the gold standard of hacking, but I don't need it. That wouldn't serve me and advance my career at all. So like do your research on your certs, pick and choose the ones that are going to gain you the skills to further the knowledge you need to actually achieve the positions you want. Like right now, I work for a company where we're building a Kubernetes-based platform, and I have to learn how to red team a Kubernetes container. I didn't know any. I was like, listen, I have no Kubernetes. I have a lot of tradecraft and a lot of purple team, but no Kubernetes. They're like, that's fine. So I started researching, like, how do you become up to speed in this thing? I want to be able to hang out with my principal engineer and not feel like the stupid one. And I started like, ooh, like certified Kubernetes admin. That looks great. And I started reading into it. And I'm like, okay, this is all Linux. Like, I don't need any of this at all, really. And I started looking into other things and found I was going to get more Kubernetes and more foundational and offensive knowledge from other certs, from the curriculum, than I was from the one with the title. So it's not always based on title. Look at the curriculum, look at the skills you'll gain, look at how they're going to teach it to you, and make sure you're really picking the ones to give you the most bang for your buck, because these things are expensive. And my company is covering mine. But when I was starting out, I got a Sec Plus because that's what I could afford. And I was like, that's going to propel me the farthest. Fine, let's do it. Like, go. So with that in mind, what are some of the, you guys think are the pros and cons to doing a 4-year degree track or doing the certification bootcamp track?
I think that like 4-year degrees, they don't teach you a lot of like what it's going to be like to work in the industry. So they don't give you a lot of those industrial skills. You don't have a lot of labs that you're working in. And whereas a boot camp or an associate's degree, especially if you're getting an associate's degree from a technical school, you're going to have more of that, those labs. You're going to have more of a support from advisors telling you, here's my advice to you on how to pivot your way into the field, all that. You're kind of just helped a little bit more. I think they give you a leg up. They do a better job of giving you a leg up and giving you the labs and giving you the hands-on experience that every company wants to know. What is your experience with this, this, and this? And those types of schools are going to give you that experience. And some 4-year degree programs, they're really trying to, with like having in-house SOCs where it's student ran and all that. And that's great. But SOC's not the only way to get into cybersecurity either. Nope. A lot of people don't want to do SOC. And so making sure that you're going to the right school for you and picking the right program for you. What is your learning style, and really understanding your learning style? Because I have ADHD. For me, going to 4 years of school, that just sounds like torture.
I agree. Like, you know, the programs are bigger, so the resources are bigger, but the people pool is bigger. Like at an associate level program, the classes will be smaller and you will get more individualized attention. Someone might recognize your deficits a bit better than like if there's 150 of you in a seminar. That's just true. What about you, Erika?
So I am totally for degrees. I hold 2 masters, a bachelor's, and an associate. But I do think that if you want to break into cybersecurity or IT in general, you don't need to go to a 4-year college, do 2 years to get some certifications. You can actually become a member of like, ISSA or ISACA, IASAC.
Oh, ISC2 or ISACA. Yeah.
They have like local chapters. For example, I'm in Colorado. The ISSA, I believe it is, the Colorado Springs chapter. They are doing free classes to prepare you for the SEC Plus, the CompTIA SEC Plus. You have to pay to take the test, but they're doing like 2 Saturdays in September this year and helping you with, work through that and study for it and guiding you. But you do have to be a member, and the membership is not that expensive. It's a yearly membership, and you could take this class for free. I was going to take it through a training facility that I found on LinkedIn, or just go directly to CompTIA. But I can just go to these classes because I'm technical, and take my Saturday and just then go take the test because it helps me prepare for it. Mm-hmm. I do 100% think that if somebody who's brand new should go for like their certifications. If they're trying to break in, like get a certification to get your foot in the door. CompTIA, that's a where you could get your Net Plus or Sec Plus, and do those, and then later on go back and have your company paid to send you, like Maril said. I see all these posts on LinkedIn about you have to have 5 years of experience, but it's an entry level and you have to have all these certifications. There's a huge thing argument going on back and forth. If you find the right company, that's not true. because these job descriptions are not right.
And those companies that have those requirements, guess what? Those jobs stay posted for forever, because even people who are in the industry don't have those requirements. Like, there are plenty of us out here that don't have those requirements. So we're just like, whatever, I'm not even going to bother, because that's such a cop out.
They say that for what I do for cybersecurity sales, you have to have a bachelor's degree. I disagree. If you have field sales experience or some sort of sales experience, you could actually become a salesperson in cyber. I have the degrees because I chose that and I needed that because I'm a single mom and I needed to get ahead. I didn't want to, struggle my whole life. So that helped me get to this side of sales because it helped me understand the business. But if you're interested in sales or marketing or something like that, you don't necessarily have to have a degree for those either.
Yeah. So for me, I have mixed feels on the degree certification things. Like, I think you can do it without either, but there are, like I said, there's a GPen who will kick my butt because he's like, I paid $10K for this and I can't get a job pen testing anything. So, I'm unique, but I also do have a degree. Like, I did go out and get one, right? I got an MS, like a master's degree in cyber, so that people would stop telling me I was unqualified to work in cyber. And I did that as a very calculated move, but I did do it after having already achieved like my 5-year plan position. So I feel like I can prove I got there without those things. And honestly, I don't feel like they help me because it guts me. It absolutely guts me when I see like, oh, we need an ISSO. That's an information systems security officer. So basically someone who's in charge of the security of the system, not maintaining or patching or whatever the system, just the security aspect of it for those of you who are new. If I see them fly an ISSO position that says, you can have a CISSP or an OSCP or a master's or 6 equivalent years of experience, I'm like, you just told me that your program's in freaking trouble. You just told me you have no idea what this person does, like on a day-to-day basis. And you have just nullified 6 different things. You took a 4-year master's and boiled it down to like 6 years of experience. By the way, I blew through mine in 6 months. So like, if I show up with my master's, you're like, cool, you obviously have 6 years of experience. No, I don't. I have had 1.5. Like, you have just taken all these fancy things that all these people put time and resources and effort into and boiled them down to canceling each other out. I don't even qualify for a CISSP yet, and I won't for 2 more years. It's silly. So if that's you at a company, don't freaking do that. And if you need help on your job descriptions, you DM any one of the cyber queens and we will write job descriptions that make sense for you.
And here's the thing is, ask the hiring manager what they actually need of the person for the position that they're hiring. Because I guarantee you, any hiring manager, they're going to look at those job descriptions and it's going to make them sick because they know for a fact they don't need those things. And the thing I've seen so many people do this, and it makes me so mad at the whole system, because it's a whole broken system. Is people go out and they get a 8-year degree or whatnot, or a 6-year degree or whatnot, and I literally will not hire them entry level because you don't have the experience to match what you've learned and you've not actually put it into work.
Or what I've seen is somebody who's the hiring manager. Well, and the company is asking for all these certs and education, and the hiring manager that's, interviewing me or the candidate doesn't even have any of those themselves. So that always cracks me up. Like, you want 7 years of experience, it's entry level, you have to have your Sec Plus, blah, blah, blah. But I don't even hold that myself because I got, promoted. But for like Gen Z and Gen Alpha, the next generations, STEM is where it's at. This is where you can be introduced to the technical field. It's not broad enough yet. It's very, siloed right now.
They're working on it.
They're working on it. And part of the reason the Cyber Queens exist is because we want to get this data out there and get people interested. I do want to mention that one of my very good friends, if you have children that are interested in understanding a little bit of cyber, the Little Cyber Engineer by Amber Devilbiss. I will put the link in the notes so you could get the link. Buy this book, and it is a child's book that breaks it down, very easily, very entry level. She could read it. Maril could read it to her daughter. I read this and I loved it. If you DM me and you have a child that's interested, I will send this book to you because I have 2 copies. I bought this one and then I got a free one because I got an autograph because Amber's my girl. But if you DM me and you say, I want this book, the first person that DMs me, I will send it to you. So again, I'll put this in the show notes, but stuff like this is how people are going to learn. Internships, the STEM programs. This little lady sitting on camera with us, she's probably going to be an engineer because her mom's an engineer. So I just wanted to mention that. Amber Devilbiss, she is on all the socials. Check her out on TikTok.
She's awesome. I love her. And what I gotta say is, like, back before that book existed, I would read them, like Electromagnetism for Babies and Biology for Babies, where it breaks things down into like very simple concepts. And I'm like, I wish someone would do this for cyber. And Amber did it. I'm like, thank God. That's gonna make it so easy for me to pique their interest.
And there is a good DevOps book that it's not the Unicorn Project. It's the first one of the 2 books. I will put it in the chat. It is about DevOps, which is development operations. So DevSecOps. It talks about life in DevOps and how things exist. And the name of the book is actually escaping me right now. So I'll go back and actually put it, like I said, in the notes. But that's another one as an entry level into like cloud and kind of understanding how those business operations work, like Kubernetes, container security. The Unicorn Project is the second book. I can't remember the first one.
Oh, it's like the Phoenix Project, the Unicorn Project.
Phoenix Project. The Phoenix Project. Yep.
I am reading those right now and they're fantastic. So
I'll put those in the chat.
Yes, we will. And so we are kind of coming up on our half hour. So I do just kind of want to ask, if you guys are evaluating, now that we're midpoint in our careers and you guys are like, not Amber, you're Erika. Erika is exploring getting into technical certifications to further her career. Nathalie's probably going to get to a point where she's going to want the next echelon of thing to, increase her skills. When you are evaluating a new program or undertaking something new, what do you look for? What is reinforcing to you? What, as people who know how people need to prove themselves in this industry and knowing how you needed to do it, what tells you that a program is good, that it's going to be good bang for your buck, that it's trustworthy, and that people will respect it?
Talk to people in the industry and they can help you as well.
Yeah, I would be looking at how many labs are going to be included in this project. How many projects can I say that I've worked on that are going to actually give me relevance to a hiring manager? For me, mid-career, I look at what's recognized out in the industry and what kind of jobs do I want to secure in the future, because I can go get a CCNA all I want, but if I don't want to do network security anymore and I want to pivot to something else, that's CCNA cyber ops is not going to do me any good.
Yeah. You don't even have to go into cyber. We're passionate about getting more people into cyber, but you could decide you want to be a data center engineer, work on storage and servers all day. So there's lots for you to do. Come to this industry. We need you.
So many avenues, and we'll start to cover those in later episodes. But the thing that I would say is, don't just go for the most expensive certification. Don't just say, if I spent a ton of money on it and it's the Rolls Royce of InfoSec certs, then I'm going to get anything I want, because that's not how it works. Nope. When I see people with 8 different GIAC certifications, and for those of you who are new listeners, they're kind of like the most expensive, top of the line, biggest, bestest training you can get. A lot of the APT hackers are GIAC trained, and they're very inaccessible to most people because of their cost. GIAC, let's work on that. But anyway, that's why I don't hold any. I don't have 10K sitting around that I just don't need anymore. So what I say is, don't go for the biggest, most expensive one. Look at the curriculum, look at the chapter breakdowns, look at who your instructor is, and Google your instructor. Is this someone who got a cert, started teaching immediately, and has never done this job a day, working in the ops a day in their life? Or are they someone who is publishing blogs, got an active Twitter, got GitHub repos with actual good projects in there, is contributing back to their students? I just say, look at the reinforcing markers of this program before you give them your money. If they say you're guaranteed to pass, we guarantee you'll pass. What that means is they'll just drill you on your gaps and let you retake it 1,000 times. Or they've got something sketchy going on where they're going to guarantee you pass. So they can say we have a 100% pass rate. Those aren't necessarily good. Not everyone learns the same, and not everyone should be passing it the first time with one methodology. For Sec Plus, Erika was like, what worked for you? And I said, I read a book. I read a book in a week. I took the test the next week and I passed. Some people need to read a book, purchase a course on Udemy, hear 3 different people explain the same concept 3 different ways for it to really cement for them. So figure out what works for you, understand how you like to learn and absorb knowledge, and find a program that does that for you. That's mine.
And like I said, you could reach out to anybody in the industry. You could also DM any of us. We'll try to help you. I will throw a disclaimer. We cannot help with job placement or, passing your test for you, but we'll point you in the direction to where you need to be. My final thought on this is don't be scared. It might seem overwhelming. And the biggest cyber crime groups in the world are teenagers, ages like 12 to 17. So it is possible for you to learn and come to this field.
Yeah. For me, my final thoughts would be that you just have to be willing to learn and constantly be driven to learn. If you're driven to learn, there's no certification that can quantify that. There's no certification. If you're always just a forever learner, you're just going to continue to learn. And there's no certification out there that can even amount to that. Just that skill alone will get you so much further than any certification I've seen.
Yeah, additional disclaimer from me. Don't come to cyber if you're not a perpetual learner. If you're going to learn 3 things and kick back and say, I'm done now, I know enough, you don't belong here, you'll fall behind so quickly. I can't even tell people how to effectively break into this industry because I did it 3 years ago and my experience is no longer relevant. That's how fast things change. So be a lifelong learner. And if you don't love what you're doing, you don't want to learn it anyway. So we're here because we love it. So my thing is just going to be to make sure that you're, again, looking at those skills, make sure they're relevant to the job that you want. If you're unsure, we all have our favorite resources. We all have places where we can point you. Just find someone working in the job that you want and ask them how they did it, and then ask them if they would do it the same or how you can do it faster and better. For me, I kind of equate 4-year programs to marathon drinking. It's it takes a very long time. It's very diluted and it takes forever. I prefer to take my shot of information, take my test and move on. But some people don't truly absorb it if they do it in a week. I can. So to find the methodology and just because I'm not where Maril's at, I didn't accelerate my career in 3 years, I'm behind. No, you're not. You're exactly where you're meant to be right at the time you're meant to be there. So don't freak yourself out and compare yourself to others. It will lead you down a dark, dark path, especially in cyber. That is my parting shot. Anything else from the queens?
I think that's
good.
All right. Thank you so much for sticking around with us through this episode. We are so happy you came back to listen to more of what we have to say. We hope you're finding value. If not, we're not going to know if you don't tell us. Please drop something in the comments, subscribe to our newsletter, and hang out with us in our inbox. Only 3 people do it, so we'll know who you are. And one of us personally responds to every email, every comment, everything on every social channel. So we do this for you guys. If we're not giving you what you need to tell us. With that, keep in mind that we love you. We're here to support you. If you have any struggles you need help with or wins you want to celebrate, no matter how small, we would love to do it with you. Please give them to us. And we hope to see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.